What you're about to view is a pre-presentation recording of searching the internet, a presentation for NEOPC to be presented November 11th, 2015. My name is Bruce Brockman. I will be the presenter. Before we even get started, let me say that searching is a fairly personal thing, and what works for me may not be the very best for you. I have a lot of years of experience and have taught classes with regard to searching. So again, this is my style, my thoughts. The presentation certainly does not cover the entire subject, and there are going to be a lot of places where you're going to have questions, and that's why this video is going to be available, as well as some links to pages on the web that can go into further detail on some things. And for those that are members of NEOPC, you can go to the forum and find this presentation, and all the links will be available to you there also. For those that are not members of NEOPC, you can watch this presentation, or you can come and join our group, and you'll have availability to our forum, which can answer an awful lot of questions, as well as get all the links to anything that is related to the club. Feel free to go to our website, which is neopc.org. And if you have personal questions, my name is Bruce Brockman. I'm the president of the club, and my email address is on the forum. Thanks for watching, and we will get started here right now. I think it's appropriate that we start with this particular slide. You've heard the old adage, it must be true because I found it on the internet. Well, obviously we all know that that is not true, and it's becoming more that way every day. You do need to verify things if you're going to use them to purchase, to give a presentation like this one. To do any kind of research, you do need to verify at least the source, and sometimes the information itself. So you'll be doing yourself a favor. If there's any question at all whether the information you have is correct, you need to verify it. And we'll get into how you might do that. Trust but verify. There was a very great man that said that once, and it's apropos to an awful lot of things. As we go through this presentation, you're going to find links on a lot of the pages, because there is an awful lot of detail that is involved, and we just don't have the time to get into it. So if there's a particular thing that you have interest in and you want to go over it in depth, at the bottom of the page where there is a link, you're going to find one of these blue stars hiding down in the corner. And the link actually does show on the screen, but there is a PDF document available with active links for all the pages in this presentation that you could want to know additional information on, and the titles of what these things are on the page, as well as in this document. Again, this document is available to members of NEOPC. And as you can see, it has multiple pages. There are 54 links, and again, I cut this down as much as I could. Searching is a very complicated subject. It's as complicated as you want to make it. The whole goal is to find what you're looking for. So, depends on how complicated it is what you're looking for. Again, for members of the club, if you go to the forum and then you go to general information, click on that link, and then go to PowerPoint YouTube presentations, it'll take you to this page. Now, the search presentation is not posted yet. This one was a presentation on Linux from last year. By mid-March, a day or two after this presentation has been made, you'll be able to find it here. And when you click on it, it'll take you to the next page, which has two links. The first one is the link for this presentation on YouTube, and the second link is the 3 pages of associated links in PDF format, and the links are active, so all you have to do is click on them and it'll take you to the proper page. So how do I find that and then even that? The challenge and the thrill of the search. And the thrill part is in getting it right in as few clicks as possible. And you will get better at this the more time you put in and the more you understand how and why it works. First thing you need to know is that you need a web browser. A web browser is actually software that is your interface to the internet and allows you to communicate with websites on the internet. The most popular ones are Chrome, Internet Explorer, which still comes with Windows, Firefox, which on and off is considered probably the best. It is used as the basis for a lot of web pages out there. And this is Safari, which is the OEM browser for Apple. So once you have a web browser, you need a search engine. I injected this slide in the presentation because I just found this information out. We're going to talk about search engines, and many of you have seen pages full of search results, and it either takes you to a place you don't want to go, or it has what this website refers to as crapware associated with it, and installs toolbars and a variety of other things. Google has stepped up with Chrome, and the results that you see no longer have crapware. Prior to this, 3 weeks ago when these people did a review of Chrome, they found that the first 5 things that the search would return had crapware in them. So, step in the right direction. You're going to find that I have a bias towards Google as this presentation goes on, and I know that many of you are not big fans. There was a time that I told everyone that that would be the last thing I'd ever use and should stay away from it, and so on. I've come to the reality that the average person is just not going to protect their personal information from the government no matter what you do. Well, that's not true. You can get crazy, and there are some things you can do. We aren't going to talk about those, though. The average person, to really use their computer the way that they want to, the government's going to see what you're doing. It's just that simple. So, in light of that, Google has a lot more to offer than do any of the other ones. And you'll see some of it as we go through this presentation on search, but also to do with calendars and a variety of other things, and they all tie together. Very good for me anyhow. So I wanted to just show you this thing because it is new, and it's very helpful when you're searching not to have to worry about things being installed in your computer that you don't want. So there are lots of search engines you can use. This is a list of 15 of the most popular, and no doubt Google is by far and away the most popular. Estimated unique monthly visitors, 1,100,000,000 for Google. The closest one is Bing at 350 million, so about a third, and it goes down from there. But there are 15 of them listed here, and on and off over the years I've used most of them, and I still use some other ones other than Google, although Google is certainly my main one. And if you want to know what a search engine is, this article down here from Wikipedia indeed can give you more information probably than you want to know. Found this interesting as I was doing research for this presentation. Apple has never had their own search engine. Obviously Microsoft does, Bing, and Google does, Google obviously. Apple is putting a lot of resources and will have their own search engine probably within a year, is what the buzz seems to be out there right now. So, after you've found all this information, you've done all of this, I'm sure you have on occasion went to look for it and couldn't find it. This is, and I've talked about the benefits of Evernote on several occasions in the past. I'm going to talk about it one more time. This is a way to save all your searches. You can tie in your email, you can tie in documents. Everything you do with a computer can be tied into Evernote, and you can access Evernote from any computer, anywhere. It's just a great way to stay organized and not lose any of the things that you spent time hunting down. So if you haven't ever looked at Evernote, you need to look at it at least. So you could go to a search engine and say, learn how to search the internet, and that will return 935 million hits. An awful lot to start with. So you could start reading through some of these, and some of them are good, some of them are not. Some of them are slanted towards a particular search engine, so on. Some of them want to charge you money. I think you can learn it on your own probably just as well, although in looking at some of these things, it's some of the basic ones are very good. And another way is to learn it from family and friends. That seems to work very well in many cases. So we're going to be talking about searching, and my way is the way I'm going to be explaining it, but really we need to talk about searching your way. Everybody does it differently, and whatever works for you is the right way to do it. But as we go on, I'm going to be talking about how I do it. So on this page you can see that it tells you how search engines work, and the article I believe is 8 or 9 pages long. If you really want to read it, you can go to the link and read it. This one was written for Google. Actually each one of them has their own individual way that they order things, but they're all basically the same, and you don't have to know any of that in order to use them. So this, and WikiHow is one of my favorite sites. They have very good tutorials, and this one is how to get the best results using internet search engines. Worth a read. And as you read some of these things, there are going to be a lot of terms that you may or may not be familiar with, and this is the best article I could find that lists terms, tells you what they mean in a language that you can understand, and makes reading these articles a lot easier if you know where you can go and find the words and the definition that makes sense to you. Absolutely one of the most important things if you're going to spend some time on the internet is to keep your device clean, whether it's your computer, your tablet, or your phone. Malware, bloatware, all kinds of things you don't want in there, and you can accumulate an awful lot of it through searching if you aren't paying attention to what you're doing. Pop-up blocker, something that is extremely important, and each one of the search engines has their own. You also get one with your web browser. If you're still having problems with pop-ups, you might want to come to this page and see if there's a specific blocker for your web browser that you're using. This is a program that I found. I can't tell you how many computers I've looked at that have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 toolbars. And toolbars are just basically a way that people can track what you're doing and send you unwanted things. The normal malware, and we recommend that you run CCleaner and Malwarebytes, and they do a pretty good job, but some of these toolbars get around them, and this program is specifically to eliminate toolbars and adware of all types. It's free, it works great. The day after I put this in here, I got a note from one of the sites that I subscribe to that there is a fake version of this out there that looks very similar to it, and I did post that on our forum. So you need to be a little careful. These people really want your information, and they're willing to do a lot of terrible things to get it from you. So staying current on your adware and malware and antivirus stuff is all very important. Cookies. Besides the wonderful ones that I'm baking for the session this evening, these are the ones that stay on your computer, and everybody always wonders, how did it know I was looking for a new pair of shoes? And that ad shows up on the next website you go to. And it's all through cookies, and they don't carry malware or viruses, but they can get you to them. So you probably should be familiar a little bit, and you can turn cookies on and off. And you'll see, if they're turned off, you'll see some sites won't give you any information unless you have cookies turned on. Again, this is a good article that explains what cookies are. Trust but verify. Snoops is probably the most popular of the verification type sites. If you read something on the internet and you're suspicious of it, you can go to Snoops and put in what it is you're trying to figure out whether it's true or not, and they'll give you some information. Now, some of these types of sites have political bents, so you have to be a little careful of that. This page, this link will take you to this page, and it says displaying 1 through 10 of 500 alternates to Snoops. There are lots of sites out there that will verify urban legends, if you will. Another thing that is absolutely important if you're going to do a lot of searching and work on the internet is to have a throwaway email. An email address where you can, if you have to put one in and you know that they're going to send you a lot of junk, get a throwaway and use that one to have all these things sent to. You can always unsubscribe from this, but this one lists the best ones. There are 9 listed here that you can get a free email address from, and using it for that purpose is almost a must if you're going to do a lot of work on the internet. Doesn't cost anything, and it'll save you a lot of time, energy, and aggravation. And it turns out that if you're searching on your tablet or on your phone, you need a different search engine. Websites are not really designed to be displayed on smaller devices. Now, certainly some of the larger companies have mobile versions of their websites, but you also need a search engine for your tablets and phones. So here's a list of some of the best ones that you can get. Voice search. Very few people do voice searches, and this is going to be more and more popular. They're made for virtually all of the different search engines that you can use. And they work extremely well, and some of them will talk back to you and verbally give you the information you're looking for, at least to start on it. Google has one of the best. They bought a couple companies 2 years ago to very specifically upgrade their voice capabilities, and they do a good job. How to search Google. They have their own forum that covers searching, and not a bad place if you're going to use Google. You should at least read through it briefly one time anyhow. Descriptors. Using the right word to describe what it is you're looking for is all important. The better you do that, the more complete, the easier your searches are going to be, the faster you're going to find what you're looking for. And I've included here a list of adjectives. I know everybody thinks they're pretty good at it, but here's 1,000, and some of them you may not have thought of, so not a bad place to look. When you get it all right, searching goes well, and you feel good about it. So what do you search for? You search for information, things you want to know. So, keywords and concepts when you're looking for information. Who, descriptors, what, how to, how much. So if you're looking for 23 millimeters, how many inches? You just put in 23 mm equal IN, and it'll tell you exactly. You don't have to get a calculator or any of those sort of things. All the search engines work well for that. Why not, when, where, reviews, surveys, critiques, all good things to look for. So, as an example here, we're going to be looking for Marie Curie, but we couldn't remember her name. So, we know she was a woman scientist, she won a Nobel Prize, and she had something to do with radium. She discovered radioactivity. I could remember all these things, but I couldn't remember her name. I think that has something to do with age, I'm not sure. Anyhow, when was in the early 1900s, and where was in France. So when we start doing our searches, we put in woman scientist, radium, and lo and behold, she turns up in the first search, Madame Curie. If we do woman scientist, Nobel Prize, she turns up in the first search. Very good. Now we're getting a little more generic. Woman scientist in France. She doesn't turn up till the third one. And when we get very generic, woman scientist in the 20th century, she's not in the list. But if we start with the first one here, yes, we will find her. This list was broken down by disciplines, chemistry and physics and biology and so on. And you scan this, and you'd have to know that Curie was her married name, not her maiden name. Her maiden name was very Polish. Still have to do some hunting. If we go down this list and top 10 women of the 20th century from Listverse, she was number 1 on their list. Unfortunately, they showed their list in reverse order, starting with number 10. So if you didn't click all the way through, you wouldn't find her. So the better the descriptors are, the quicker your search for what you're looking for is going to come to an end. Entertainment. You look for, whether it's movies or music or pictures or whatever. So is it a book, a poem, a song, an image, a painting, a video? What genre? Do you know the artist's name, where, when? The uniqueness, adding descriptors. What format do you want it in? So again, an example, and I wrote a review on this thing on the forum. The author's name was John Kennedy Toole, and the book was called A Confederacy of Dunces. And I couldn't remember his name, and I couldn't remember the name of the book exactly when I wanted to write this, so I put down a book in New Orleans in the 1960s, and I won a Pulitzer Prize. And every single one of the results of the 296,000 results, the first ones were all what I was looking for, Confederacy of Dunces by John Kennedy Toole. Getting the right words up here is ultra important. So we're going to talk a little more about Google searching, and I used radioactivity just because I used it earlier with Madame Curie. So when you do a Google search for radioactivity, it comes up with a lot, 9,580,000 results for radioactivity. Obviously we need some more descriptors up there, but this is just to give you a little example here. So right next to that, and that was a web search is what that was. Right next to that is images, and if you click on images, radioactivity images, it'll take you here, and there are literally thousands of images to do with radioactivity, and these are primarily JPEGs, PNGs, GIFs, whatever, and that's how I found some of the pictures that are used in this presentation. If you click on videos, these are videos to do with radioactivity. Typically they're listed in date order, but not always. Depends on what they think is the most relevant, what you think you want. News to do with radioactivity, we would click there, and these are articles written about radioactivity recently. Books that were written about radioactivity. Here are a list of books that you can get about radioactivity. In the More column, you can go to shopping for radioactivity. Interesting. You can get the little signs, you can buy the little signs, and a book on measurement principles and things that you can buy to do with radioactivity. Even more, apps to do with radioactivity, and I found this one fascinating. You can turn your smartphone into a Geiger counter with this app. You put a little piece of tape over the lens, you take pictures, and the sensor in there, when it's blinded by the tape, actually picks up radioactivity. Fascinating. So another unused part of Google is Google Scholar, and if you put in Scholar radioactivity or go to the Scholar site directly, this lists articles that are in universities and government facilities and so on to do with radioactivity. These are scholarly articles written about whatever it is you put in here. And next would be patents, and if you put in patents and then the word, or you can go to their patent link here. These are all patents, and there are 2,340,000 of them to do with radioactivity. A lot of things that people are not aware of. So you do a normal search, and I did it for NEOPC, which is us. when that search comes up over here, there's a little gear over here. If you click on that, you can change your search settings, languages, turn on safe search. We'll talk about that a little bit. Advanced search, that's what we want to look at here, and history of your searching. But if you click on advanced search, this is where you can use all the ands, ors, nots, that type of thing to really narrow in on your search. If there's 9 million things, you don't want to have to read through all of those, although learning to read search results, skimming those, looking for words, relevant words, is just something you're going to have to train yourself to do, and the faster you do that, the better off you're going to be. And the less that you're good at that, or the more curious your mind leads you in various directions. That's why it took me so long to put this presentation together. I get interested in things as I start reading the searches. Acquisition. You could be searching to buy something on the internet, and a lot of people are not comfortable with that. And it's probably because their search skills just aren't up to par. So, you need to know the product description that you're looking for, part number, manufacturer description, color, size, number of units, price, shipping. Where do you want it? Do you want it prepaid, FOB? Is there going to be tax on it? When do they get it to you? Do you need to buy insurance? All things that you can put in the search engine to narrow it down when you're doing it. So we're going to go a quick example here. You get a lot of emails. In this particular email, it looked like a camera that I thought I wanted. I've been looking at that particular camera. That seems to be a pretty reasonable price, $399. So we click on that, and it takes us to their page, and there it is. And if you highlight something on a web page, which I highlighted the camera here, and right-click it, you can either copy that or you can search Google for that particular whatever you have highlighted. And you just click on that, and it'll take you, it fills in the box, and it takes you right to a search for that. And over here, these are ads for people that pay to have you click through to them. And Best Buy and Amazon are two of the famous ones that'll show up first here. And over here, they list a lot of other people that have paid to be here. This is the one we just looked at. It's a Groupon, $3.99. I see down here $3.69. Now, I recognize I've bought from all these other companies, so I feel comfortable with that, except this one. I never bought from them. $3.69, could save $30 buying it from them. But look at this one, $2.79. Wow. Save $120, you betcha. So I click on that, and the company is IBCart. Never heard of them. Looks legit. All the stuff there, they're telling you that the price trend on this product is going down. Maybe that's why they got a great price on it. But I better do some research on this company because I'm not comfortable with them. So I do click through on their company and read some. I see a 1-star here. That's not very good. Oh, down here is a rip-off report. I better read that. And interestingly enough, it's a different company name, comma IBCart. So it's also doing business as, basically. You click on that, and it says this company, including IBCart, ships second-hand, non-functional products. Doesn't sound good at all. Just to show you how you can even drill down further, though, we have an address here for them in Connecticut. So if we search for that address, we find it right here, and in the Street View it says it's basically a place where you can rent office space. Doesn't sound like where you would ship electronics from, does it? Very, very suspicious. It's a business lounge. That coupled with the rating would probably just turn me off immediately. But anyhow, I went back and just wanted to see how contact us, and basically there are no phone numbers, no addresses, no nothing, just contact at their .com. Doesn't sound good. I think not. So back to this page, and I see this one for $3.69. That's still saving me $30 over what I thought was a great deal. I click on that. Yep, that's what I wanted. Let's find out a little bit about these people, though. And since 1979, there's service center for all of those products. How about their contact? My goodness, they've got all kinds of phone numbers, toll-frees, direct phones. There's their address. That's where they are. They've got a 24-hour hotline. Looks pretty legit to me. Could do some more research if I was going to buy it there. But anyhow, just to give you a quick idea of how I might do it. If you feel like this after you're all done searching, well, yeah, it's when you get started, it's a lot of work, no doubt. It gets a lot easier after you've done it a few times. And buying on the internet certainly can save you time and money, which we're all interested in doing. The better you get, the less time it takes, and that's true. I believe with the right experience and unlimited time, you can find anything you're looking for on the net. Well, remember, not wishful thinking, that you think you found it. You're so excited about it, you're just going to go ahead and do this. Trust, but verify. You can get in trouble if you don't, that's for sure. A lot of people do some silly things on the internet with wishful thinking. So, some of the things that people search for on a regular basis that may or may not be a problem, but I'm going to give you my thoughts on them anyhow. It used to be you could do people searches for free and come up with some pretty good information. Anymore, they want 95 cents or $1.95 or whatever to give you some information. There is a site called Anywho that indeed does a good job of finding the person that you're looking for. And you can do it by address, you can do it by phone number. There's a variety of ways you can do it, and this one is still free. There's an article here about free people searches also. But this one works just fine, unless you need to get into their background and so on, and there are lots of places you can get all of that, but this is one of the few free ones left. Music. Can get in a lot of debate here on finding music. This page that I'm showing you here, Groove Shark, has been around a long time. Has a lot of the old music as well as the new, and you can do playlists and do a bunch of other things here that you can do on most of the normal ones. I've found this one to be very good. The one below it, called archive.org, has got all the oldies. In fact, I've been watching a lot of Charlie Chaplin complete movies from that site, but it has a lot of old music also. Excellent. And then the one listed below that down here at the bottom is a rating of several different sites, and everybody has their own personal one here. If you've never looked at these, you may want to check them out. They're very interesting. Movies. 17 best places to watch free movies online. And there are a bunch of good places to watch free movies, and there are places where you can watch ones for practically nothing too. So downloading them is another issue altogether, and we aren't even going to talk about that. But downloading streaming movies from one of these sites is keep you entertained for a very long time. Books, and again, this is another one. Everybody has their own personal preference. I have two. Project Gutenberg, whose goal was to make every book that's ever been written available online for free. Currently it says they have close to 50,000 books, which hasn't even scratched the surface, actually. But what's good about Gutenberg and the other one I've listed here, which is many books, they have them in a variety of different formats, which means no matter what type of device you're going to try and read these things on, you can get a format that'll work there. So it's one of the great sites, wintertime activities. Freeware. As you all know, I'm a big proponent of freeware. I think that if you look long enough and hard enough, you can find a program to do anything that any of the pay-for versions will do. Although, of late, you get a lot of bloatware with freeware. And you really have to be very careful when you install it so that you don't install things that you don't want. And some of the sites you'll even get some malware from. That early slide that I showed you that Google is not putting any of those sites now up in the front for you to download is a step in the right direction. But night, this particular site is interesting. They have a good selection of freeware. You go here and you click the ones that you want, just check off the ones that you want, and then there's a next button which puts an installer together that installs all of these, and they are absolutely clean. There is no toolbars or anything extra with any of these. You just get the program. And with that installer, you can run the installer again 6 months from now, and it'll go check and see if there's been an update to any of the programs that they got for you the first time, and it will update them for you, which is a great service and works out well. There are two articles down here that talk about crapware and what's going on with it today, and you need to stay alert when you're installing things from the net. Food and recipes, and I put this one in because it's one of my favorite sites. It says they have 350,000. When I did this click, they're probably 400,000. It's called Big Oven, and they have a pay-for version as well as a free version. 350,000 recipes is a lot of recipes, even if it isn't 400,000. And it's well organized. It'll make up shopping lists for you and do a whole lot of things. It's really one of the better cooking sites. I would say it's beginner, intermediate, not advanced. All the recipes are fairly simple and make sense. One of the main things that people use the internet for is to get medical advice. Certainly WebMD is one of the best known of all and has got a almost spotless reputation. They do try and keep it clean and up to date and all the right things. It's like anything else medical. They'll get a couple opinions. Doesn't hurt. This article, How to Get the Best Medical Advice from Forbes online. If you're going to be getting medical advice from the internet, probably want to read this thing first. How to fix something. Certainly reading instructions isn't always the easiest way to fix things. Most people are visual when it comes to something they're unfamiliar with. And most people don't realize that you can go to YouTube and put in a model of a washing machine and tell it what you want to do to it or what's wrong with it, and it will show you a video that will tell you how to fix it. Now, whether you want to or not, but worth looking at so that if a repairman comes out, you have some idea what he's talking about ahead of time. And it's not just washing machines, it's computers, very specific to a model, and so on. So if you're going to fix something, this is a good place to look first. Speaking of Fix-It, most people are not familiar with Microsoft Fix-It, and they have a site, and if your problem has to do with Windows, if it has to do with Internet Explorer, Media Player, Office, and other, you click on that, and then what is it that your problem is, and start clicking through this, and usually they have a patch or something that they'll link you to that if you download it, it fixes your problem. In a lot of cases, not every case, that's for sure, although I just heard recently that if you go to a Microsoft store, they will, for free, fix your problem. You have to take your computer in, so if you have a notebook, that's great. If you have a big old tower, maybe not, because the closest one to us is in Beechwood, Ohio. But that's a service that most people are not aware of. And I found that searching on the internet. I wasn't aware of it either, so worth knowing. So, shopping on the internet. There are a bunch of websites that will help you to shop. And they will price compare, and they will model compare, and they will do a lot of the work for you. For me, it takes the fun out of it a little bit, but it certainly takes the time out of it too. There's a good article on Wikipedia, and also when you're searching, that's certainly a site that you should have bookmarked. Trust and Verify, as Wikipedia is an open book, and people can add things to it on their own. They try and police it pretty well, but there you go. Google also has a shopping site that does most of this. So if you're new to shopping on the internet, or you're going to be buying a lot of things, you just bought a new condo and you got to furnish it or whatever, probably a good thing to put in a comparison shopping site, bookmark it on your computer. Genealogy. Searching is what that's all about. If you're willing to do the time, put in the time and do the searching, it's amazing. Dick Rose, one of our members, traced his family tree back over 1,000 years. Pretty amazing. This group is associated with us to some degree. They meet in Fairview Park. If you're not familiar with CAG and you have some interest in genealogy, you certainly would be welcome to join them, and it will improve your searching skills, no doubt. And now, the deep web, also sometimes called the dark web. Over 99% of the information that is available on the internet is not available on the regular web. It's available on the deep web, the dark web. And the reason for this is the way the search engines acquire information is through the use of robotic spiders that they send out and look at all of the websites that are out there. But if a website needs a password to get into it, it's not included in the results that they find. If a website intentionally doesn't want you to find their address. They're capable of doing that. So why is it out there? And it's getting an awful lot of notoriety of late. A lot of nefarious things go on the deep web. You need a special web browser to get there, and then you're going to need a lot of help to find anything, if indeed you do. Guns, drugs, human trafficking, every perversion you can think of is readily available on the deep web. I looked, and I had gone there a couple times looking for something legitimate. But as I was doing this, I was debating on whether to talk about this, and there's a program on television coming up that goes into this a little bit, so it's going to be much more front and center than it's been in the past. So you need to know at least what it is. In doing the research for this, I found some things that I can't even think about, let alone talk about. Sick. You can indeed, there were hitmen selling their wares on, and the price varied from how important the person is that you wanted to eliminate. As low as $20,000 all the way up to $250,000. Very frightening. A lot of things on there were frightening. So, I'm going to mention it. It's totally up to you whether you want to look at it anymore or not. And need to advise you that if you do, Uncle Sam will probably be looking at you, because most people are there to buy drugs, and that's probably half the traffic on the deep web is buying drugs and other illegal things. So, here's an article, how the deep web works, and this one again is, I think this is about 12 pages long. And indeed, it'll tell you how to get there and how to start looking for things if you want to. Again, I'm putting it up there for informational purposes only, and certainly unless you have something very specific and legal that you want to do that you think you could only find there, I'm probably not recommending that you go there. But it's interesting to know. So, when you have your computer and you're doing a lot of searches on it, your little family, younger family members see you doing it, and they want to do it, and they need to be protected from some of the things that are out there on the internet. It's just not for children, that's for sure. I'm not even sure it's for adults, but children for sure need some filters. Young minds are very curious. Parental controls, and virtually all the browsers have parental controls, and if there are young people in your homes or visit your homes and use your computers and whatever, I strongly recommend that you put some parental controls on your computers. And there are lots of articles on it, and we can't cover all the different devices that would use it. You never know what you're going to find out there, even for older folks. It's sometimes quite surprising. So, may all your searches take very little time and yield spot-on results. Remember, trust but verify. Again, there are links to all the things you saw here. There's some additional ones that didn't bother to put in here, but you may be interested, so you can find all of those. Just as a quick aside, in putting this presentation together, I spent 353 hours, 27 minutes, and 30 seconds up to that point with 47 revisions. Searching can take a lot of your time because some people get sidetracked, myself in particular. But what you can get out of it is well worth the time and effort, I think.